So you've sent something to print and the colors did not come out right. Now you've been told that it is your fault. Why is that? Coming up. Hi guys, and welcome to Dillic TV. Now, in my many years of printing, I have found that this is a common problem that people face, which is that after they have printed something, they realize that the colors may not be exactly like what they had expected. So how do you avoid this from happening? I will be showing you how today. I am going to show you the differences that you're going to see because of your computer screen. Now, your computer screen is going to be very different from what you print out. The reason behind it is because your computer screen is a light source. Now, a light source is comprised of three colors that are coming out, and that is RGB. Red, green, and blue. The mixture of these three colors will give you the color that you are actually looking at on your screen. Now, there's one thing that you need to know is that no two computer screens are going to look the same. Now, why is that the case? For example, here I am using a Mac. Now, if you were to open an ordinary computer, you will find that the colors might be slightly different because the screen settings are different. Now, if you open it on someone else's computer, they might have set the brightness and the contrast to different levels from what you have done. Now, what I'm going to do in the next part is I'm going to show you this. Now, if you were to have a look at this, now this is a spot color. If I click it, you can see it's a spot color 032 red. That's Pantone 032 red. Now, follow my cursor and you will see that this is an AI file. AI means Adobe Illustrator. Look at the red. Now watch. I'm going to save it as a JPEG image. Now when I open the JPEG image, can you see that? Let's look at it again. Saw that? Now it changed. Why? Because a format, the JPEG format, is an approximation of your AI. Now what happens if you use a different format? This is PNG. Can you see that when I put it side by side? Can you see there's a difference? The one on the top here is PNG and the one over here is JPG. Now, JPG and PNG images are approximations of the Pantone colors that you have just created. So, in the next part, I'm going to show you what happens when this actually goes to print. Alright, so now what you're going to see here is this has been digitally printed. So it is the same logo. Now we have already covered what happens when you see it on the screen, and that is this is RGB, okay, which is very, very different. Now you will see something which has been printed on an offset scale, which is a little bit brighter, and finally silk screen. So you can see that just by printing on a few different formats, you have exactly a different outcome from the same color. And of course, like I had covered before, why it will always look brighter on your computer is because that is a light source, whereas what you are seeing when you print things out is based on light reflection. Now, in this very interesting experiment, what I'm going to do is I am next going to show you what happens to colors when you change the light. Where I am right now, it is warm light. Now, if I were to change it to bright light, and you see the color changes. Now, if I change it back again to warm light, and you can see it just looks different. So what happens is sometimes even the source of light that you use can affect how the color looks like. Now that you have understood the difference between the color scales in your computer as well as the contrast and brightness, let me go on to the next part. Now, as I had mentioned before, what you are looking at from your computer happens to be an RGB scale. That is red, green, blue, and it is a source of light. Now, but when you start printing stuff, say for example, if you go to offset prints, what you'll find in an offset print is that they've actually separated the colors into 4 components, which is CMYK. Now CMYK is cyan, magenta, yellow and black. Now these 4 are mixed in proportions to give you an effect which is similar to your spot colors. Now, so what will happen is when you print, for example, on your printer and you press print, it works in a similar process. Now that is actually a digital print. Now in a digital print, your cartridge has as well CMYK, and from there it will actually determine what exactly it needs to print. Now also do be aware that different papers are going to give you different color results. For example, a photo paper generally will bring out colors a little bit better as compared to your normal papers. Now your normal papers which you use are a little bit more absorbent. So because it's more absorbent, you'll find that the colors are a little bit dull. Now, finally, you have your silkscreen printing. Now if you look behind here, this is silkscreen printing. Now with silkscreen printing, what they actually do is they mix the color first. So you have the exact spot color, and then it is printed on, or painted on to your fabric or to your plastic bag or to your carton boxes. Now this form of printing, you will find that the colors will always be very dependent on the kind of material that you are printing on. So some are more absorbent and some are not. Now the type of paper makes a big difference as well. So if your paper is a little bit glossy, you'll find that the color is a little bit brighter. Now as with all spot colors, you have your uncoated color and you have your coated color. Now with coated colors, they are a little bit brighter, and your uncoated ones give you a matte finish. So naturally, your next question would be, have we had any kind of prints before which look very different? Well, in the experiment that I had shown you before, those were very, very simple examples. Now I'll show you something which is printed on many different types of media. So if we look up here, you will see that the color was supposed to be brown, and it was a multicolored print. But as you can see, when it comes out on plastic bags, it looks very different from your lunch boxes, which are different kind of paper. And when you go to your cups and bowls, which is further down below here, you will see that your cup and bowl will look different because this is PE laminated paper. So with lamination, you will find that your colors get a little bit darker. And finally, we will go down to the digital part which was printed, which is the sticker, and you see it looks a little bit brighter, and it's brighter because this was digitally printed, as opposed to the others which were offset printed and finally flexo printed as well. So this is what can happen when you print on different media and you print on different methods of print. Alright guys, I hope you found this video helpful. Now, the most important thing that you must always remember is when you send anything for print, always ask for a color proof. Now, what happens with a color proof? In a color proof, you can actually see what are your images going to look like if they were a little bit dark, and what will happen if it's a little bit light. Generally, with all printers, they will always tell you upfront that there will normally be a Pantone shade difference of between 5 to 10%. What is Pantone? It is a color code. Now with a color code, it is easier for paint mixers to mix the colors to be exactly or close to what you are looking for. Thank you very much for watching, and see you again.